7 months ago, twins George and Samuel Ross were tried for the murder of their business partner, Jack Murphy. George Ross was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment, but the jury were unable to agree in the case of Samuel. Samuel Ross claims that he's lived a large part of his life in the power of his brother, to the extent that there were occasions when he had no control over his will or his actions. It was as though his brother took him over, two in the mind of one. He claims he was in this state on the night of the murder. Here at the retrial, Samuel Ross is defending on the grounds of diminished responsibility. Mr. Lotterby is appearing for the defence and Mr. Fry for the prosecution. Mr. Fry has just called his first witness, George Ross, the accused's fraternal twin. Mr. Justice Mitchener presides in the case of the Queen against Ross.
Truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
You are George Ross.
Yes.
6 months ago, you were tried for the murder of Jack Murphy and convicted.
I was.
You were subsequently appealed against this conviction.
I did.
And was your appeal dismissed?
Try reading the papers.
Come. You are here as a prosecution witness. Please answer the question.
I don't look upon myself as a prosecution witness.
You agreed to give evidence?
Yes.
You agreed to appear as a prosecution witness.
I don't think I quite understand that point.
Well, whoever called him to give evidence must have explained to him.
Yes, my lord, he agreed to give evidence against his brother.
Never. I never said I'd give evidence against my brother.
What did you say?
I said I'd get up here and tell the truth, so help me God.
Oh, let's waste no more time, yes?
Mr. Ross, I'm sure that everybody understands that for emotional reasons you are an unwilling witness and will sympathise with your desire not to say anything that might harm your brother.
Oh, do get on, Mr. Fry.
Now, was your appeal dismissed?
That's right, it was dismissed. But I'm innocent. They said they saw me dragging a body out the back, but they was miles away and it was pitch black.
You do understand that it is not you who is on trial here today, but your brother.
I understand.
Do we all understand?
I think so, my lord.
Let's get on.
Now, Mr. Ross, I'd like you to cast your mind back to last September, to that unfortunate evening when you arranged to meet your business partner.
It was Sammy, actually, that suggested and arranged the meeting.
Oh, I see. Did you have any discussion about the necessity of getting together, or did Sammy act entirely independently?
Well, Sammy and me had a general discussion about our business position.
And how was it, your business?
We were keeping our heads above water.
Meaning that you were in some difficulty?
Meaning that things needed a close eye kept on them so as not to get out of hand.
And who was your business partner?
Jack Murphy.
Who was murdered later that night. Did you have any worries about him?
Well, he was the sort of man who took risks. Sammy thought he might have gone a bit far.
He was an undischarged bankrupt, wasn't he?
He was.
Then why did you and your brother agree to take him into partnership?
Well, he wasn't short on ideas. He had the gift of the gab. He was good at setting things up.
What exactly was your business?
Property. It was Jack Murphy that made us expand into building. We just done conversions and let him till he come along.
And what kind of developments were you getting involved in?
Well, Jack found this site and he got an architect to draw up design plans and he got the council to accept them. And we sold off some of our property and raised capital on the strength of what we got left. We were halfway through building this small estate of classy bungalows when a bank put a stop on money. And that's when Sammy decided we should get our heads together.
So this meeting was to be a discussion about raising money?
That's right, yeah.
Had Jack Murphy put any money into this project?
No.
Not a penny?
No.
Was he supposed to put money in?
Yeah, but he hadn't.
Were you disappointed?
Well, not really. I mean, Jack was a bankrupt, wasn't he? We didn't take him into partnership because of his cash. We took him in because he knew the right people, how to talk to them, how to go about things. He had a good business mind.
Good enough to be a bankrupt?
Well, it doesn't mean he didn't have an eye on the main chance. You can't get lucky every time. He had big ideas. He was a big thinker. He just needed nailing down.
Did your brother agree with you about Jack Murphy?
Yeah, well, he thought it was time that he put his money where his mouth was, yeah.
And so this meeting was arranged?
Yeah.
Now, was this to be an amicable meeting?
Well, how do you mean?
Or was this to be a meeting of friends?
Well, we were friends meeting, yeah.
So you arranged a friendly, amicable meeting with your business?
No, Sammy arranged it.
Meaning what?
Meaning nothing. I'm just pointing out that he arranged it.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Sammy arranged the meeting. Was he in an amicable mood?
Well, not really.
What sort of mood was he in?
Well, it's difficult to say,
He was
really.
in a bit of a state, wasn't he?
My lord.
Well-
Yes, it does not seem to me a matter on which you can lead.
I beg your pardon, Lord.
I really shouldn't need to remind you.
Lord, I accept that the question was ill-judged.
I do understand the difficulties, but it'll be better if we all stick punctiliously to the rules.
Indeed, my lord. So your development had stopped for lack of funds.
Yes.
At this time, was all your capital tied up?
Well, there were various properties we could have sold off, but we had no real liquidity. The market was pretty difficult.
So you were hoping to persuade your business partner to provide his share of the capital?
Yeah, well, Sammy thought it was time.
Yes. Now, where was this meeting arranged?
Well, Sammy suggested we should use one of our own flats that was empty, furnished, no tenant.
What was the address of this flat?
18A Camberley Drive, West Fulchester.
And when did you meet?
8 o'clock.
Who was present at the meeting?
Just the three of us.
And what happened?
Well, we had a few drinks. Jack was in a good humour. He came up with another business project. Very pleased with it he was, purring with satisfaction. Sammy just kept quiet and listened.
What was this project?
Well, first we had to get rid of all the houses that we owned, the ones we was letting. And then he said there was a firm interested in buying into our estate development. He suggested we sell out of that altogether.
At what price?
A below market value, but he said we were better out of it.
And what were you to do with your newfound liquidity?
He said we should buy into the foreign hotel business.
What was your reaction?
Well, I was upset. I mean, Jack hadn't put any money out for the development, you see, and, well, Sammy was furious.
Oh, in what way?
Well, he's just furious.
But how was this surely apparent? What did he do?
Well, he was quiet. It was in his eyes, the way he held his cigarette. I doubt whether anybody else would have noticed it, but we're very much aware, you see, what the other's feeling or thinking.
Do you mean in a telepathic sense?
No, just in the way that brothers who get on well would be. That's all.
I see. So you observed that your brother was in a quiet fury?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I suggested we go out into the kitchen and have a bit of a chat about it. He agreed. So he went out and I asked him what he was mad about. I mean, after all, Jack hadn't done anything except not put his money up, and we could always squeeze him a bit for that.
How do you mean squeeze him?
Well, rough him up a bit, you know.
No, I'm afraid I don't know. Would you please be more explicit?
Well, nothing more than pull his collar, just tell him to keep in line, a warning.
Did you suggest to your brother that you should both do this?
Yeah.
What was his reaction?
Well, he agreed. I suggested that we should talk strong to Jack, but no fists. And then Sammy looked at me, very intense and quiet he was. I could hardly hear what he was saying. This company that Jack wants us to sell to, what about it, I says. He's got an interest in it, he says. He's taking a percentage of our loss.
How did your brother know about this?
Well, he said he'd seen Jack meeting with one of the directors. Well, then we decided we ought to give Jack a gentle working over.
And which of you suggested this gentle working over?
Well, I don't remember.
You use these expressions, working over, roughing up. Is there a distinction?
Well, working over means coming in a bit heavier, my lord. What we meant to do was just show him you were nobody's fools. Don't get me wrong, this was just a soft touch.
Just tell the court what you intended to do.
Well, pull him about a bit, push him into a seat, just show him we were nobody's fools.
You had no intention of inflicting any physical injury.
No.
And your brother agreed with you that no more than that was necessary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was a lot calmer when we went back into the sitting room. So he went back inside there and he said to Jack what he thought he was up to, and Jack laughed and said he was talking a load of rubbish. And Sammy said, I saw you. I seen you with a big man from Lampkins.
Lamptons?
Yeah, the development company that Jack wanted us to sell to. Well, Jack never denied the meeting. He said he had met them just to sound them out about buying into our company, you see. And then Sammy said, I've seen you with him before. You met him in several places. And Jack said, well, you must have had a private detective on me. And Sammy says, I have. Well, Jack started to look worried, and he got up, and I pushed him against the wall and told him to watch it. He couldn't play the dirty with us. And then he says, all right, I'll get you the money so that you can carry on with the building. He said he only had our interests in mind. And then he said, well, he started getting angry. He started saying I'd pulled us up from grabbing for a living, and how he'd He'd given us the benefit of his business knowledge and that. And now he said he was going to save us by getting us the money.
This would have been a very considerable sum of money.
Yeah, in the region of 50,000.
How was he able to hold such a sum, being an undischarged bankrupt?
Well, he said it was in someone else's name. Someone was looking after it for him. Apparently a lot of it was in stocks and shares, and, well, he'd hung on because the market was in a bad state.
Were you satisfied with this?
Well, he was going to do what we said, and, well, I didn't think he'd try anything again. We'd have to watch him.
Then what happened?
I said, right, we'll all meet up again in the morning.
Now, by the early hours of that morning, you and your brother had been arrested and charged with murder.
That's right, yeah.
So what happened in that sitting room on that September evening?
Well, Sammy had knocked back a load of whiskey, you see, and when he got up, he was swaying a bit. Well, suddenly he seemed to go berserk. He started hitting Jack, and I couldn't stop him. His rage seemed to give him strength. Well, he flung me across the room. I went over a chair, and I smashed my head against the fireplace. Well, I was, like, dazed for a minute or two, and when I looked up, he was done in, a goner. Sammy was very quiet, said he was panting a bit, breathing deep to get his wind, you know. He said he's gone, he's out of the way.
You knew Jack Murphy was dead?
Well, there was a lot of blood about, and, well, a whiskey bottle was smashed on the floor, and there was blood round the jagged edges. And I said to Sammy, do you know what you've done? And he just smiled.
Mr. Ross, did you in any way coerce your brother into killing Jack Murphy?
Absolutely not.
Did you want Jack Murphy dead?
Well, why should I? I had nothing to gain. Neither of us did, come to that.
Have you at any time in your life felt that you had any power of will over your brother?
Well, no. We both know what the other's thinking a lot, but no more than that.
So you are saying that in killing Jack Murphy, your brother acted entirely of his own volition and quite independently of you?
Yes, my lord. Mind you, there was something very strange about him. His eyes had that wide, staring look, and he was very relaxed. In my opinion, he was mad. At that moment in time, I'm sure he...
Yes. It's not for a layman to give an opinion.
I'm sorry, my lord.
Mr. Ross, you're very fond of your brother, aren't you?
Yeah.
As twins, you have a special bond.
Well, we're close.
You love your brother.
Yes.
So, according to you, Ross, you took no part in this murder and you have been wrongly convicted.
I had nothing to do with the murder. I tried to stop Sammy. I thought he was mad. It had nothing to do with me. I said I thought he was mad.
Yes, that would be very convenient, wouldn't it?
I don't follow you.
Don't you, Mr. Ross?
I don't get your meaning.
You want the jury to believe that your brother was not guilty because of diminished responsibility and that you were an innocent onlooker. Your reasons for suggesting that your brother was insane at the time of this brutal murder are quite understandable and all too transparent.
Say that you have no power over your brother.
That's right.
As far as you know, anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean you have no conscious power, perhaps.
Well, no power at all.
You can look into your subconscious, can you?
No.
Then how can you state categorically that you have no power over your brother if that power is connected with a subconscious force?
Oh, you're quite right if you take the premise that these things happen from the subconscious. I should have thought that someone with the strength to will someone to commit a murder would operate on a more conscious level.
Oh, we've been doing some reading, have we?
Well, I have time.
You have the power to compel his loyalty, of course.
I don't understand.
Well, in a fight, your brother would stand up for you whether you were right or wrong.
Well, if that's wrong, you should put all twins on trial, all brothers, all friends.
You tell the court that your brother killed Jack Murphy.
Yes.
On his own.
Yes.
You didn't join in.
I tried to stop him.
But you were overpowered.
Yes.
Mr. Lotterby, what we are concerned with, as I understand it, is whether Samuel Ross was coerced into murdering Jack Murphy.
Indeed, my lord. Yeah. You never at any time suggested to your brother that he should kill Jack Murphy.
Well, why should I? I've already said we had nothing to gain.
You told my lady friend that you were very close to your twin.
I've never been split up.
Never?
No.
Well, never been on holiday separately?
No.
How did your twin's wife feel about that?
I don't follow.
Well, how did she feel about you going on holiday with them? I mean, didn't you think it was pushing it a bit?
Oh, Jane, never mind it. We had some good times.
But you will agree it's a little unusual.
What, to go on holiday with your own brother?
My learned friends seem to think that brotherly loyalty and a joint holiday constitute a case for diminished responsibility.
Oh, I think he is painting in a background. He's giving us some psychological insight into the makeup of the twins. Yeah, am I not right, Mr. Lotterby?
Yes, my lord. Did you suggest to your brother that Jack Murphy was trying to split you up?
No.
But you don't deny that he and Sammy got on very well together?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I mean, no, they did get on well.
They did get on well. How well?
Mates.
So what with Sammy being married and now having found a new mate in Jack Murphy, he couldn't have had so much time to be with you, could he?
No, we were together. We were together quite a bit. You don't know.
What don't I know?
They couldn't split us up.
Who couldn't?
No one could. They couldn't split us up.
What would you do?
You let them try.
Yes, what would you do? Get Sammy to murder them?
Look, there was no question of Jack Murphy making me break with Sammy.
But it is a fact, is it not, that Sammy went with Jack Murphy on a trip to Spain?
Yeah.
They went for a week?
Yes.
Did you go?
No.
This trip, was it a holiday?
No.
What was it?
Well, they was looking out for, business possibilities.
Ah, and when was this trip? I mean, how long before Jack Murphy was murdered?
About a couple of months.
It might seem like a couple of months. It was, in fact, 6 months before.
Yeah, well, I don't have a diary on me.
So even from this early date, there were possibilities of you and your brother buying foreign property.
Well, it wasn't so much business. It was more looking for a summer place.
Oh, somewhere where you could all go.
Yeah, that's right.
You're a very tidy man, aren't you?
Yeah.
As one can see from the way you dress and your hair. Even now you're in prison, you keep up your standards.
Yeah, well, I don't like filth. I don't like smells. I like things right, just right.
You lived in the house next door to your mother's, didn't you?
Yeah, it's the next house, but they're joined together.
You did a lot to the house, didn't you?
Yeah, I like to live surrounded by the things I like.
You also had a place in the country.
Yes, I've got a house in the country.
Did you take a long time choosing where to buy it?
I did it with Sammy.
And you took a long time choosing where to buy it because both you and Sammy are both very fussy about where you live, even if it is only a part-time home.
Well, we know what we like.
And yet it's not you who goes with Sammy abroad to search for a villa, is it? No, it's his new mate, Jack Murphy. And yet you say Sammy put a detective onto him. Now, that's strange, isn't it?
Why?
Well, got on well with him, went abroad with him, prepared to drop your company for him, and yet he put a detective onto him. Oh, come on.
He did. He put a detective onto him.
Who was the detective?
I don't know.
You haven't been able to find him?
No.
In fact, no one has been able to trace this detective.
No.
There can't be all that many private detectives in Fulchester.
Well, perhaps he came from somewhere else.
Sammy Ross sets this invisible detective on the trail of his friend, arranges for a meeting in one of the empty flats that you own, and there quite cold-bloodedly murders him.
I never said he'd done it in cold blood. What I am saying is I got no control over my brother. Well, he was in a quiet rage, and suddenly he erupted and he started thumping Jack, and Jack started to break. He got so strong I couldn't stop him.
You were jealous, weren't you?
That's a lie.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, your business partner was trying to take over from you.
Sammy and me were still in
It was
charge.
a business, perhaps, but it was Jack Murphy Sammy went to Spain with, wasn't it? You went to the country.
Well, why shouldn't
You
I?
went to the country to get over the shock, didn't you? Your brother told you he didn't want you to go to Spain with him. He told you he wanted a break from you.
That's a lie.
If Sammy says it's true...
Well, it could have been said in the heat of the moment.
In the heat of a row, perhaps.
Oh, brothers do have rows, you know.
So he did want a break from you.
I don't remember.
You brooded over this. You watched Jack and your brother Sammy over the next 5 months. You were being cut out more and more, weren't you? You couldn't let it go on.
Well, Jack was my friend as well, you know. We got on very well. The three of us got on very well.
Sammy wanted to give up business in this country, but you wanted to stay here. It was 1 against 2. You against Sammy and Jack. Well, you couldn't let it go on. You had to do something.
Look, how many times have I got to tell you I did nothing? I was just worried about my business interests. So was Sammy. We were both worried.
You may have done nothing physically, but you willed your twin brother into a savage, ritualistic killing.
I did not.
That night, when Jack and Sammy seemed to be all set to sell off your business interests here, you decided the moment had come, and I suggest to you that you put your power of will to work. That power to make Sammy obey you, to obey you without question.
You're forgetting that it was me that tried to stop him.
Oh, yes, you tried to stop him. You saw your brother smash a man to death and you could do nothing. And afterwards, what did you do? Nothing. You're trying to play invisible like your detective?
Look, I banged my head trying to stop him. I swear to God I tried. Well, I was dazed. When I got my thoughts together and I saw what had happened, Jack in a pool with a smashed bottle, in a pool of blood, I was sickened. I thought I was going to heave my lungs up. I'm not a weak man. I'm not soft. I was sickened. And I said to him, "Do you know what you've done?" And Sammy said, "He's dead." And I said, Right, my old son, this far and no further. You're on your own now. So I let myself out of that flat. I went down the stairs and into the street. It was late. I went back to my mother's, I had a cup of tea with her, I went through into my house and I had a bath. And then I went for a long walk.
The truth is that you willed your brother to join you in this brutal murder and that together you battered Jack Murphy to death.
I swear to God I never laid a finger on him. I never willed my brother to do nothing.
What is it with you, George? Are you torn? Is that what it is? You want your brother in prison with you? Do you need him that much? Is that why you won't admit you controlled your brother in this murder?
Well, why should I do that?
Oh, because your brother is a part of you, isn't he? And at times he's only an extension of your personality.
I love my brother.
Enough to accuse him of murder.
Look, he was unbalanced that night. Something happened to him, something he couldn't help.
Oh, you can't admit your control, because by so doing you'd be admitting your own guilt. That's why you're suggesting your brother went mad and committed this murder on his own.
He did do the killing on his own.
So why didn't you go to the police?
But he was my brother, my twin.
But if you thought he was mad...
Well, I couldn't go to the police.
Why not?
I don't know.
If he was insane, it would have been for his own good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, you don't think clearly with a shock.
The shock of having killed someone.
Of seeing someone killed.
I suggest you didn't go to the police because you yourself were responsible for your brother's temporary insanity. You didn't go to the police because you, and you alone, were guilty of the murder.
I wouldn't do that to Sammy. I wouldn't blame him for something that I'd done. I'd cover for him.
Well, you are trying to cover for him by suggesting he was unbalanced at the moment of murder, but there was more to it than that. He was controlled by you, wasn't he? Willed to murder by you.
The case of the Queen against Ross will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Colchester Crown Court, George Ross has given his version of what happened on the night of September the 8th, when he and his twin brother were accused of the murder of their business partner, Jack Murphy. Although found guilty in an earlier trial, George Ross maintains still that it was his brother who committed the murder. Sammy Ross is defending on the grounds of diminished responsibility. He claims that, although aware of committing the murder, he had no control over his mind or his actions. He felt he was being controlled by his brother. In fact, he was no longer himself, but just a projection of his brother's personality. The prosecution have just called to the witness box Victor Garnis, owner of the Half Moon nightclub.
How often were the Ross twins in your club?
3 times a week at least.
Were they well behaved in your club?
Oh, yes. A lot of charm, plenty of free drinks. Mind you, it turns sometimes. I mean, that Sammy had a right old temper if it had too much to drink.
Can you remember any particular incident?
Yes, I
Do
can.
you not object, Mr. Lotterby?
No, my lord, this is a matter I would have raised myself.
Very well, you may answer the question.
Well, Sammy came into the club one night with his wife. About 5 minutes later, this chap came in, sat down next to his wife at the bar. Well, before I knew where I was, Sammy was on his feet, knocked the chap off his stool, pinned him down, and he was shouting out, "No one makes a pass at my wife."
Had he made a pass?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And then what happened?
Well, he would have half killed him, but I had a couple of men on duty, and they pushed Sammy off.
Now let's move on to the night of the murder. Were the twins in your club that night?
Yes, they were. They came in early, about 7 o'clock. They were having a nice, quiet drink. I heard Sammy say, "We'll get him tonight. We'll really pin him down." And George replied, "Yes, we might just do that." Then George saw me and they stopped talking.
Had you any idea what they were talking about?
No, only that somebody was really in for it that night.
When did they leave?
About 8.
Did you see them again that night?
Yes, they came back to the club in the early hours of the morning.
And how were they behaving?
Well, Sammy was very pleased with himself. Laughing and joking. They were adding to the general atmosphere. It was gala night, you see.
And George?
Oh, George was much quieter. But of course he always was. I mean, Sammy's the dominating one.
I see. Thank you.
It was Sammy who was the dominant one.
Yes.
You're suggesting that Sammy had power over George.
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Then what do you mean, Sammy was the dominant one?
Well, that's the sort of thing you say about twins, isn't it?
Oh, I see, is it? Mr. Garnis, tell me, did you ever see George exerting a strong influence over Sammy?
No.
That night, Sammy came into the club with his wife and knocked that man to the floor. It was your doorman who held him down, was it?
Well, he was like a wild animal, screaming and shouting and that.
Being held down calmed this wild anger.
Well, he shook hands with the man he hit afterwards, and then they bought him a drink.
They bought him a drink?
Yes.
Who do you mean?
Sammy and his brother.
Well, where did George come from? You said that Sammy came into the club with his wife.
Oh, George came in later.
How much later?
I don't know.
But certainly he came into the club in time to buy the man a drink.
That's right, yes.
So it wasn't too long after the incident took place.
It couldn't have been too long, no.
In fact, George arrived when Sammy was being held down, didn't he?
Well, I don't know.
And it was George who talked Sammy out of behaving like a wild animal.
Maybe.
So George did have some influence over his brother, did he not?
Well, I never knew you meant like in that sort of way.
You told us that Sammy was the dominant one, and yet here we have Sammy ready to half kill a man, and his brother George persuading him to buy that same man a drink. Sounds to me like a case of mind over mind, wouldn't you say?
I wouldn't know. I'm not a psychiatrist, am I?
No. You say that the morning after the murder, the twins came into your club and they were laughing and joking, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Doing a lot of laughing and joking, were they?
Yes.
You spent all your time watching them, did you?
What do you mean?
The club was crowded.
Yes.
Gala night.
I've told you that, yes.
Were you busy?
I was rushed off my feet.
But you had plenty of time to watch the twins.
Look, I caught a glance out the corner of my eye of them laughing. That's what I meant.
Oh, good. As long as we know what you mean. Do you know why the twins returned to your club in the early hours of the morning?
They were celebrating, weren't they?
Celebrating a murder, I suppose.
Yes.
Strange they should choose your club for such a ghoulish celebration.
Why shouldn't they choose my club?
Well, you never much liked them, did you? Well, you tolerated them, but you thought they were upstarts. In fact, you wanted Jack Murphy to have nothing to do with them. That's right, isn't it?
I never liked them much, that's true, yes.
And there's another reason for them not wanting to come to your club. If, as you say, they were plotting Jack Murphy's murder and later celebrating the deed. Jack Murphy was your brother-in-law, wasn't he?
Yes.
No further questions, my lord?
Has your lordship any questions?
Nope. Have you any more witnesses, Mr.?
Just one, Lord. You are a consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Clark.
Yes, that's right.
And you made a special study of twins.
Yes, I published a paper on the subject.
Now, the defence in this case is that at the time of the murder, Sammy Ross was in some way taken over by his brother.
2 in the mind of 1, where 1 becomes a projection of the other's personality.
Is this something to which twins are subject?
Oh, yes, indeed. Identical twins, that is, not fraternal.
And George and Sammy Ross are, of course, fraternal twins.
Yes.
Dr. Clark, would you explain for the jury, please, the difference between identical and fraternal twins?
Identical twins come from one egg, which subsequently divides, while fraternal twins come from two separate eggs, like ordinary siblings. The mother's ovaries may be extra active and produce 2 or more eggs a month instead of 1. But genetically, the single egg...
Yes, would you please define genetics?
Oh, the study of heredity and variation, including loosely the physiology of reproduction. Do you follow?
Yes.
I was about to make the point that twins, identicals, are born with twinship in their genetic makeup,
So there
which
is
obviously continues throughout their lives.
an unusual psychological affinity born into identical twins.
Yes, but not necessarily a psychiatric one. You see, if the twins look alike and can hardly be told apart, they're bound to have many experiences and come up against many situations very different from those not only of 2 single siblings, but of fraternal twins who don't look the same. Most important with identical twins is the heredity makeup of the single egg. This causes not only the marked similarities in their appearance, but more than that, it also causes their bodily and mental mechanisms to be geared in the same way.
So you are saying that there is a distinct possibility that in the case of identicals, one could project his thoughts into the mind of the other?
No, I'm not saying that. A less improbable improbability.
Oh, dear. So the behavior, the thinking, the social relationship, in the case of identicals and any subsequent psychological problems would tend to be different from those arising with fraternal twins.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
Good. Yes?
In point of fact, just as most of the stories and worries centre on identicals, so in fact do most of the major psychological problems associated with twins.
Yes.
You have examined the accused, Dr. Clark?
Yes, I have examined each twin and the mother.
And what conclusion did you come to?
I thought both George and Samuel Ross were reasonable and well-balanced individuals. I found none of the symptoms of the more common disorders or mental diseases. No manic depressive psychosis, no paranoia, nor did I find symptoms of a psychopathic personality in either of them. I should perhaps add that the great majority of twins are normal.
So in your view, George and Sammy Ross would have been incapable of sharing this strange experience of one controlling the other?
I am saying that, having examined each twin and the mother, from the facts and from the tests I carried out, I came to the conclusion that it was unlikely in the extreme.
Thank you.
You came to the conclusion, Dr. Clark, that they were both normal?
Yes.
It's a curious conclusion, isn't it? And they had both battered a man to death.
I was examining them for personality projections. I think George Ross is a ruthless man, but I do not believe him capable of possessing his brother. I therefore looked for signs of schizophrenia in Samuel Ross, and I found none.
Schizophrenia being a disconnection between thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Quite correct, my lord.
Dr. Clark, I understand from what you say that fraternal twins are, to all intents and purposes, the same as single children.
Well, genetically that's correct, although, of course, pressures on twins may be greater than on the sibling.
Ah, so the pressures can be greater even for fraternal
Oh,
twins?
yes, indeed. You see, single baby is a tyrant in a world that revolves around him. This is an important part of a child's normal development, to be intensely self-centred and oblivious to anyone's needs but his own. Now, twins have no time to adjust to the presence of another equally demanding child. The dangers of emotionally maladjusted behaviour are therefore greater. They may develop a morbid closeness to and dependence on the other.
Forfeit their sense of individuality?
Yes.
Two in the mind of one?
Yes. But I don't believe that to be so in this case.
Oh, why is that?
Well, I saw no sign of mental retardation. I saw no sign of retardation in social development.
I understand that identical twin babies don't in fact look alike at all, is that right?
Well, it can be so. They often look least alike in infancy.
The resemblance increases as they get older, doesn't it? And with fraternals, this can be reversed, I believe. Quite often, fraternals look alike when they're in their infancy, but the resemblance diminishes as they get older.
Yes, this can be true.
And George and Sammy Ross were extremely alike when they were young.
I believe that's correct. In fact, the mother was convinced for a long time that they were identicals.
She dressed them in the same way and treated them as though they were identical.
It's true that twins reared in unusual proximity from birth may have problems imposed on them.
Yes, in fact, it's true, isn't it, that there is a higher risk of twins being pushed into insanity through the greater psychological stresses.
There are relatively no more twins than singletons in mental institutions. And those twins are usually identicals. There is no unusual mental link between George Ross and Samuel Ross.
When the twins were 4, Doctor, they were separated. George went into the country. He was 200 miles away from Sammy. Both twins lost all energy. And one morning, Sammy went down with diphtheria. And the same evening, George Ross went down with the same illness. They were 200 miles apart.
This is the first I've heard of such an episode. Why didn't the mother tell me?
Oh, that's something I can't answer. We'll have to put that question to her when she gives evidence.
That they should both catch it together. There might just have been some kinetic empathy between them.
Are you saying that through some, electrical impulse, one twin communicated over 200 miles to the other?
Frankly, I don't know.
Would you state, Dr. Clark, categorically that Sammy Ross was not in the power of his brother on the night they killed Jack Murphy?
If what you've told me is true, if the twins lost energy because of separation, and if they contracted the same illness whilst separated, then there is a possibility that there is something abnormal in their mental and psychological makeup.
Ross, will you tell us what happened the night you and your twin brother George met Jack Murphy for the last time?
Yeah, well, I remember a blur of the old days. I can't say it clearly. It's focused, you understand?
Well, let's go over it bit by bit. Now, first of all, how did you all come to meet?
Well, I saw old George in the morning and phoned Jack in the afternoon and arranged for a meeting that night.
Was your intention to kill Jack Murphy?
No.
Was it your intention to rough him up?
No, I mean, I agreed with him in some ways.
In what ways?
Well, agreed with us going abroad, I mean. Agreed with us setting up over here altogether and setting up abroad.
That's why you went with him to Spain 6 months earlier?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Did you think it was about time Jack Murphy put some money up?
He was going to, and no, it didn't worry me.
What mood were you in before the meeting?
Well, I was looking forward, like, to getting everything sorted out.
Were you in any way in a bit of a state?
Well, I was a bit, yeah. I was worried how George was going to take it.
How did you feel when Murphy urged you all to move abroad?
No, I knew about that, see, because I went to Spain with him.
It didn't make you upset or angry?
No, why should it?
Why had you waited 6 months to hold this meeting?
Well, I wanted George to be in the right sort of mood before I put the idea to him.
Were you frightened of your brother?
Well, I wanted him to agree.
Why did you employ a detective to follow Jack Murphy?
Well, you see, I didn't say.
You heard your brother say that you did.
Well, it was a mistake.
Huh?
Was it perhaps your brother who employed a detective?
I don't remember that.
Whether your brother employed the detective?
No, I don't remember anything about the detective.
No. So you were keen on the idea of going abroad?
Oh, yeah. But I suppose George was right. I mean, we couldn't go, see? I mean, we couldn't leave Mum and, well, she wouldn't move. We'd never been able to get Mum to even move to a bigger house.
Yeah, make George angry.
What?
Jack was suggesting you leave your mother.
Yeah, well, you see, I mean, we couldn't leave her. I mean, she was on her own and no one to look after her.
What happened to your father?
We left home, sir.
How old were you when he left?
Well, 8 years.
Had you got on with your father?
Well, he was a very weak man, sir. I mean, our Mum made him go and sleep in another bedroom and she took us twins in with her, see? That was after we'd both been ill.
Why did she take you both to her bed?
Well, she loved us. Well, she said we was a part of her. So, well, when she was ill, she used to give us her medicine and say to get her well.
By you taking her medicine, she would become well?
Yes, sir.
Did you and George play a lot together when you were little?
Oh, yeah.
Did you play with other children?
Not much.
Why was that?
Well, they used to take... They used to make fun.
Why did they make fun?
Well, we was always dressed to look the same, see?
What did you do when they made fun?
Well, we pushed one boy through a greenhouse window. He didn't laugh again.
Who did the pushing?
Me?
On your own?
Yeah.
But you said we pushed a boy.
Well, it was the first time, see? The first time I wasn't in control.
Did you want to push this boy?
No, sir.
What made you do it?
Well, I felt this, well, it was in my head, see? And I just pushed him. It was like a burning. And then when I turned round, George was smiling. And then he went into the greenhouse. The boy had cut himself, and George, he rubbed his hands in the blood and smeared his face with it. And I did the same. Then we went home. Oh, Mum, she punished us. She made us undress and bend over and that, and she bathed us together. She took her clothes off and all so she wouldn't get them splashed. And she washed the blood off.
When you talked to the psychiatrist, did you tell her this?
No, sir.
Why not?
Oh, it's family business.
Well, why are you telling us now?
It's all gone too far.
Yeah.
When you got married, what was George's reaction?
Oh, George, he come to the wedding, but we wasn't on speaking terms for months. Until I said he could come and stay with us whenever he liked. I mean, we had a room for him, see? We kept a room for him.
Your wife didn't mind?
Oh, yeah, but she had to put up with it, didn't she?
How did George react when Jack Murphy came along?
Oh, he was well pleased, yeah. He got on fine with Jack. In fact, he was more for having Jack in the business than I was, if anything. Yeah, you see, Jack, he was going to get us the right contacts. I mean, as you said, sir, he was a bankrupt, but he did have a good head on his shoulders, a good head for business, and, well, he was good for a laugh and all. He cheered George up no end. George didn't drink as much when Jack was around. I mean, well, George used to drink a lot, see, and my missus didn't like it. She didn't mind, the fact that George drank, but when he did drink, I went and joined him, see. I remember one day she said to me, "Ain't you got a mind of your own?" And I said, "Not always. I mean, not always when George is around." And then she got angry and said she didn't have no patience, said she couldn't be doing with weakness like that. So she didn't want a man like my father had been. I mean, she wanted a man. She wanted a proper father for her children. Yeah, I mean, they really hit it off fine. And then I didn't see George for some time. I mean, he didn't come round the house as often. And I went to Spain with Jack, and George didn't like it. He sort of went off Jack after that and didn't have too much good to say for him. But we still went on working, but we had to decide what we were going to do business-wise, yeah.
And so this meeting between the three of you was arranged?
Yeah. Well, it started quiet, I mean, to start off with. We just sat round, we had some beer and nuts, and, well, I like nuts with a beer, see? Salted peanuts, they are, the big ones, the best. And, well, George, he was drinking whiskey, and we were talking business, and I started to drift. And then the voices I could hear, they didn't make sense anymore.
What were they talking about before this happened to you?
George, he was talking very quiet-like, and he was asking Jack if he thought he was trying to pull a fiddle. He said, "Look, you can try it with others, son, but don't pull it on with us." And I started to drift. I knew what was happening. It was like the time I pushed that boy through the greenhouse window. Like the time when George used to come back and I'd start drinking. I was outside myself. A blur, It was drifting. And then, well, my hand sort of reached out for the bottle, and I felt the neck of the bottle, and I remember I was surprised. I was surprised I could still feel it, because I thought, though somebody else is in my body, I still got the sense of feel, sense of touch. And the bottle sort of broke on the edge of the table, and I lurched forward. Well, I screamed, because I knew this was worse than the greenhouse. I'd only been a moment out of my body then, but this time I was out of my body and I couldn't get back in. And Jack was laughing when the bottle smashed into his middle.
Why did you suggest meeting at an empty flat?
I don't know, sir.
What was your suggestion?
Yes.
Did you suggest going somewhere quiet so that you could rough up Jack Murphy?
Oh, no, sir.
In the Half Moon nightclub, before you met Jack Murphy, you were heard to say, "We'll get him tonight, we'll really pin him down." What did you mean by that?
Well, I meant we get things sorted out.
I suggest you said, "We'll get him tonight, we'll really pin him down, we'll take him somewhere quiet."
No, sir, that's not
When you
true.
took him somewhere quiet, you got blind, drunk, drifted into a state of insensible anger and attacked him.
Well, I wasn't in control.
With a bottle and a half of whiskey inside of you, I'm not surprised.
No, you see, sir, I didn't drink all that much.
Did you kill Jack Murphy on your own?
I think there was only one person hitting Jack, yeah.
You?
Well, my body, yes.
Your brother says he tried to stop you.
Yes, sir.
You agree?
Yes.
But you just said it was your brother willing you to do this murder.
Well, yes.
It doesn't add up, does it?
What?
I suppose that in common with your brother, you're hoping to obtain a retrial for him and to get yourself off on grounds of diminished responsibility.
No, that's not true.
You said that you were possessed by your brother.
Yes, sir.
Then you're suggesting that he's some kind of evil force.
No.
You're suggesting he's some kind of a devil.
No.
You're saying he's a monster.
I'm not.
You said he entered your head.
Yes.
Then he's a monster.
He's not a monster!
Then you were, in fact, responsible for your actions.
The case of the Queen against Ross will be concluded tomorrow in the Crown Court. Samuel Ross is on trial accused of the murder of a business partner. It's been alleged that together with his fraternal twin, George Ross, he battered their business partner Jack Murphy to death. George Ross has been found guilty at an earlier trial, but the twins ran separate defences, and the jury were unable to agree in the case of Samuel Ross. He's defending on the grounds of diminished responsibility, claiming that at the time of the murder, he was a projection of his brother's personality. Now called to the witness box is Jane Ross, wife of the accused.
Mrs. Ross, how long have you been married to the defendant?
4 years.
And you have your own home?
I insisted. Sammy wanted me to move closer to his mother, sort of next door would have suited him, but I don't think that sort of thing works.
You didn't get on with his mother?
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't think you should be under your in-law's feet. You need to break away.
You thought your mother-in-law might interfere in the running of your home?
Well, she's very fond of Sammy. I thought she might have tried to claim him.
It almost sounds, Mrs. Ross, as if you're talking about a child.
As far as his mother was concerned, he was, and still is.
Have you been happy?
When we were left to ourselves.
He's been a good husband.
Oh, yes. He's kind and gentle. And he can be fun. We've had some good times. He got down now and then, but don't we all?
How do you mean?
He got into moods. He went into moods sometimes.
What happened?
He got moody.
Yes, but how did the mood manifest itself?
How do you mean?
Did he sulk, quarrel?
He went up into the attic and sat in the dark.
For how long?
Sometimes a couple of hours, sometimes the whole weekend.
What did you do?
I left him to it.
What sent him into these moods?
Well, nothing definite. It only happened now and then.
Did he ever say anything when he was in these moods?
Oh, he'd say things like the world was full of death and evil and serpents and he wanted to sit. He did say once he thought by moving about we got old, and if we all stayed perfectly still, then we wouldn't get old. But I think he only said these nonsensical things to try and annoy me. And as I said, it was only once in a blue moon.
How did you feel about his twin going on holiday with you?
I didn't like it.
Why?
I wanted Sammy to myself.
Still, I suppose George would go off on his own in the evening.
Where we went, George went too.
The three of you went everywhere together.
Sometimes it got very difficult.
In what way exactly?
George was possessive. He was like his mother. He seemed to think he had some claim over Sammy. I was an outsider, no blood ties, you see.
Was George rude to you?
Oh, no. No, never. He was always very polite. It was Sammy that made me feel awkward when George was about.
Did you talk to your husband about this? Tell him you didn't want his twin to go away with you?
I talked till I was blue in the face. It was like trying to get through to a brick wall.
I see.
Still, it was only for a few weeks. What I couldn't stand was when he moved into our home. Sometimes he'd come for a week, sometimes a month. He'd come when he was depressed. And he and Sammy would sit up till the early hours, drinking.
Your husband drank a lot on these occasions?
Oh, only when George was there. When George wasn't there, Sammy was near enough teetotal.
Apart from George's visits, though, it was a happy marriage.
Definitely.
Did you look on the twins' relationship as a threat to your marriage?
Please don't suggest to the witness the answer you want from her.
I'm sorry, my lord. What was Sammy like when his twin visited?
Oh, he seemed to make Sammy change completely.
How do you mean? Would you elaborate a little?
Well, how do you put it into words? He seemed to make Sammy evil. The only time he ever hit me was when George was there.
Yes? This was an incident involving George?
Yes. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. They were together downstairs in the lounge. They put a record on. They were making an awful lot of noise. I was very tired and I tried to get to sleep, but in the end I couldn't stand it anymore, so I got up and I come downstairs. Well, I didn't go into the lounge straight away because, well, I knew they got peculiar when they were together. Then there was this great roar of laughter and furniture bashing about, so I opened the door and I went in, and there they were, rolling about on the carpet. They were fighting or playing, pulling and punching each other. It was a very rough game, but they were enjoying it. Well, I just stood there and watched them. They didn't see me. There they were, rolling about on the carpet like a couple of kids. It was sick somehow, not right. Well, then they pushed into the stereo and the needle scratched the record. It was a new record. I'd only just bought it when I was really livid, but I didn't say nothing. I just went over to the plug and I pulled it out. And then they looked up, oh, very surprised and startled, like a couple of guilty school kids. So I said to them, would you children like to be left in the dark? And then George said to Sammy, you're a lucky man, Sammy. You ought to take care of her. Don't let anyone hit her, except yourself, of course. And then Sammy looked at me with glazed eyes. He got up and he walked towards me across the room. He looked at me as though I was in his way, and then he hit me. The blow knocked me back out through the door, and the door slammed shut, and they went on with their game.
Did Sammy explain why he did this?
The next day, well, next evening it was, I was still in bed when he went out in the morning. He come in, he saw my eye was black, my face was all swollen. What you been doing, girl, he said. I was hit, I said. I'll kill him, he said. Who done it? You, I said. Well, he was staggered. He went pale. He got hot water and cotton wool, and he bathed my face for half an hour. and he cried. He cried like a baby. He didn't even know he'd hit me. He would never have done it if it hadn't been for George. George has this influence over him.
You are Mrs. Kitty Ross.
I am.
You live at 48 West Rise, Fulchester.
I do.
You are the mother of the twins.
Yeah.
Mrs. Ross, did you see the twins on the night of the murder?
I didn't see them both. George come in late. I was sitting with the light out and I switched it on. Didn't half make him jump.
Yes, how?
Well, he wasn't expecting the light to go on.
How did he appear to you?
Tired. I worked very hard.
Did George have any blood on him?
Blood? Why?
Well, he just committed a brutal murder.
I remind you, Mr. Lotterby, that this is the trial of Samuel Ross.
Yes, my lord. Did George mention his twin?
No. I asked how Sammy was, and he said, oh, he'll be busy for a while, Mum.
Nothing more?
No, we just sat and he had a drink, and then he said he was going off to have a bath.
Yes. Mrs. Ross, I'd like to go back in time now to the twins' childhood. Would you say they were close?
Oh, very close.
Did they have many friends?
No, they didn't need any friends. They had each other.
Do you think dressing them alike was a disadvantage?
Don't see why.
Well, perhaps that's why they had no friends. By this time, they didn't look alike, and yet you dressed them alike.
Oh, well, people took us as they found it.
Were you at all aware that there are special problems with twins?
Not with my boys. No, I knew how to handle them. I never let one do anything without the other. Never give anyone anything I didn't give the other.
But, supposing one wanted to play football and the other one wanted to sail a boat.
In that case, I'd keep them both in until they both wanted to play football or they both wanted to sail a boat. Then I'd watch them.
Didn't it ever occur to you, Mrs. Ross, that you were perhaps attempting to suppress the differences between your twins? That you were trying to fit them into some preconceived notion of how twins should behave towards each other?
Well, you see, my lord, when they was little, they got a lot of attention because they was the spitting image of each other, you see. Well, we all got a lot of attention. And then, as they got older, and there wasn't so much alike, well, people wouldn't believe they was twins then, you see. So I dressed them alike, and I made them do the same things so that they would be known as the Ross twins.
Did the twins ever have a serious illness?
Diphtheria when they was 4.
The twins contracted diphtheria at the age of 4.
George in the morning, Sammy in the evening of the same day.
Were they both at home?
No, George was away, staying with folks.
How long had George been away from home?
About 2 months.
And how far apart were they?
Well, for the first time in their lives, they was over 200 miles.
Over 200 miles apart, and they caught the same disease on the same day.
Yeah, well, I put it down to something to do with them being twins, you see. I always thought there was something special between them.
Oh, why was that? Had anything else happened?
Oh, all the time. When there was babies, they'd be sitting in their pram, looking the dead spit of each other, and George, he'd have his thumb in Sammy's mouth, and he was sucking like just as if, you know, they didn't know whose mouth belonged to who.
Was there anything else?
Once, Sammy had a cold. So George was out playing on his own. All of a sudden, Sammy lets out a yell and he hangs onto his knee. And an hour later, George comes home. He'd fallen on some glass and he'd have to have stitches.
Do you remember any other time when the twins came home with blood on them?
Yeah, well, there was that time they pushed that boy into that greenhouse. They came home then with blood on their face. Gave him a good smack and then I gave him a good bath, teach him a lesson.
Did you take your clothes off to bath them?
What?
When you bathed the twins on that occasion, did you undress?
No.
So you didn't bath the boys with no clothes on?
No. I just slipped my dress off like, you know, so I wouldn't get splashed.
How long did you have the twins in bed with you?
That night?
Did they continue to share your bed?
Well, they just come in for a cuddle.
Did you make your husband move out of your bedroom?
What? Yeah.
Why?
Well, I nearly lost my boys. I thought I had to keep them by me. I nearly lost them when they had diphtheria. There's nothing wrong with that.
When you were interviewed by the psychiatrist, you told her not one word of what you've told us now.
Well, I hadn't had time to think.
Or else to put your remarkable imagination to use.
Don't understand.
How much of what you've told this court today is the truth?
Every word, may God strike me dead.
Very well. Let's take the most striking example of mental empathy between the twins, the time you say they both caught diphtheria.
Yeah?
Who was the doctor who attended George?
I don't know.
Oh, well, presumably you can get in touch with the people he was staying with.
Oh.
They could let us know.
They're dead. They're dead.
All right. It should be easier to trace the doctor who attended young Sammy.
Don't remember.
You don't remember the doctor who treated your son for such a serious illness?
Yes, yes, I'll remember if you... just give me a minute, though.
Are you sure this doctor ever existed, Mrs. Ross?
He died. He died 2 years ago.
Very convenient.
Oh, he was 78.
Never mind. I suppose he kept records?
They've demolished the street that he lived in, and there's a block of flats there now.
In other words, there's not one scrap of actual evidence that the twins were ever even separated, let alone that they caught diphtheria at the same time.
They did!
Did they indeed, Mrs. Ross?
Do you wish to re-examine this witness, Mr. Nottingham?
No, my lord, thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the case for the defence.
Very well. Now then, Mr. Fry, perhaps you are ready to address the jury?
I'm sorry, my lord. I've just been informed that my solicitors have located a further witness. I'd very much like to call this witness if I could have just a few minutes.
Mr. Fry? Yes, very well. Then we will adjourn for a few minutes.
All stand.
You are Miss Jenny Stewart,
Yes.
and you've been living in Spain for the past 6 months.
Yes, I have.
And where were you living before that?
In Forchester, I rented a flat from the twins.
And where was this flat?
It's the one where Jack Murphy died.
And where were you on the night of the murder?
At the flat.
Just a minute. Are you saying that you were a witness to this crime?
Yes, I was.
You do understand that it was your duty to appear as a witness at the trial of the Ross twins 6 months ago.
Yes, I do understand that. I'm sorry, but you see, I was frightened.
What frightened you?
George Ross.
How did he frighten you?
He said he'd slice my face if I did it.
If you did what?
If I opened my mouth.
When did he threaten you?
Well, just after it happened. They were hoping to cover everything up then.
They?
Well, the brothers were. So George said I was to go to Spain and stay till things were sorted out.
Yeah? How did you come to meet the twins?
I met them at the Half Moon nightclub.
And they were friendly towards you?
Oh, yes. I happened to mention that I had to move out of my digs and they said they might have an empty flat. I gave George my telephone number. I didn't expect to hear from him again.
But you did?
He phoned the following day and said that there was a flat. I met him that evening and went to look at it. I liked it and moved in.
How long ago was this?
About 2 years ago.
And you've been friendly with the twins ever since?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean the fact that they use your flat for the meeting.
Oh, they often met up. The flat was open to them. Oh, we all got on well together.
So when Sammy phoned up and said they'd all be meeting at your flat, you weren't surprised?
No, not at all. Except it wasn't Sammy who phoned, it was George.
George arranged the meeting?
Well, he phoned me anyway.
When did they arrive?
Jack arrived first. About 6:30.
Yes,
I cooked him a...
What time did the twins arrive?
I don't know exactly. Must have been around 8.
Where did they discuss their business affairs?
In the sitting room.
Did you stay with them?
No, I had some washing to do. I was in and out.
Their meetings were generally informal and friendly, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
Now, was this meeting informal and friendly like the others?
Not at first. Everything was all right, you know. But I heard raised voices after a bit. George seemed to be angry. He said that Jack was trying to ruin them. Jack laughed and said not at all. He said he wanted to take everyone abroad. See, he wanted the brothers to drop some of their business here and move into foreign property. Then he said that he'd bought a place in Spain and they were to go and stay there.
How did George react to that?
It was frightening. He was so calm, but his eyes, you could tell he hated the idea.
What about Sammy?
Sammy liked the idea. He liked the idea of getting away from everything. He tried very hard to get George to come round to it. Well, so did Jack.
But George wouldn't have it.
He kept on saying, "We've got to stay home. We've got to stay here." Well, then Jack said, "Well, all right, you two do what you want, but I'm going." Well, then Sammy was quiet for a long time. They all were. Then George looked at his twin and said, "You are you?" And Sammy replied, "Yes." Well, it was uncanny. It was as if George knew what his twin was thinking. Well, then Jack said, "Let us in on this." Well, George turned to him and said, "My dear twin has decided to sell his half in the family business and join you in Spain." Well, then Jack drank a toast, and I thought that was that. But George kept on repeating very quietly, "We've got to stay home, look after Mum. We can't leave Mum. We've got to stick together." Well, then Jack told him to belt up or something, and George turned quite suddenly from being quiet, and he was on his feet, and Jack and him were sort of fighting.
What did Sammy do?
Well, he looked at me. He was horrified. He didn't know what to do. Well, I said, "They'll smash the place up." And Sammy said, "This is stupid. They're behaving like kids."
They went on fighting.
I screamed at them to stop. I tried to get between them. Sammy pulled me out. He didn't want me to get hurt. Then George shouted to Sammy for help. Sammy told him to stop being so bloody silly. He told him to lay off it. George kept on in this strange voice. "I want you to hit him. Are you my brother or not? We're a part of each other. Hit him, hit him." Oh, in this strange voice. Well, then Sammy looked at me. It wasn't Sammy anymore. It was... Well, he was like George. The same look, the same expression. Well, they were identical. Then Jack kicked out and George screamed, "He's trying to destroy us." Then they hit Jack. And they went on hitting him till George smashed a bottle into Jack's stomach and then into his face and then over his head, and the floor was all covered in blood. Suddenly everything was strange. It wasn't real. It was like a film or something. Well, then George put his hands into the blood and smeared his face. Then Sammy did the same. And they took off their jackets and went into the bathroom. They started running a bath. They were laughing and fighting. And then they had a bath. When they came out, George said, "We've got a lot to sort out." He rolled the body up in the carpet and said, "Come on, let's find the nearest tip." And George told me that I had to get out of the flat.
Thank you very much, Miss Stewart.
It was Sammy who had the bottle.
What?
It was Sammy who smashed the whiskey bottle.
No, I thought it was George.
Oh, so you're not sure?
It was so fast.
You couldn't bear to look.
Or perhaps there were two.
To what?
Whiskey bottles.
Well, perhaps it was Sammy who started the fight.
What?
Perhaps George just helped.
No, it wasn't like that. You're confusing everything.
Let's face it, Miss Stewart, things are pretty confused anyway.
I came here today to tell the truth.
Did you? You went to Spain during the first trial because you knew that your evidence could have only one effect, to condemn both twins. Now that you've heard that Sammy is pleading diminished responsibility, you turn up again with a distortion of the truth.
No, it happened just as I said, with George calling Sammy to him, ordering Sammy to obey. Well, Sammy didn't even look like himself. He turned into his twin, George Ross.
Excuse me, Renaud. I've only one more question to put to you, Miss Stewart. Is it true that you are the mistress of Sammy Ross?
You must answer the question.
No, it isn't true.
The truth would save the court a great deal of time, Miss Stewart. Otherwise, I shall have to go into details.
Oh, yes, I was. So what? I went with George as well.
Members of the jury, as you well know, Samuel Ross is charged with the murder of Jack Murphy, and that he took part in the killing of that man is not disputed. However, the defence have raised a special defence of diminished responsibility. And where this defence is established, it has the effect of reducing the crime from murder to manslaughter. Now, this defence of diminished responsibility is provided in Section 2 of the Homicide Act of 1957, which has it that where a person kills or is party to the killing of another, he shall not be convicted of murder if he was suffering from such abnormality of mind as substantially impaired his mental responsibility for his acts. Now, as a rare exception to the general rule in criminal cases, the burden of establishing this defence falls upon the defence. They must satisfy you, not beyond all reasonable doubt, but on the balance of probabilities, that the accused was suffering from such abnormality of mind as substantially impaired his mental responsibilities. So you must decide whether the evidence satisfies you on the balance of probabilities that at the time of the killing the accused suffered from such an abnormality. If you do so decide, then your verdict will be not guilty of murder, but guilty of manslaughter. If, however, you reject the contentions of the defence, then your verdict will be guilty of murder. Will you now please retire and consider your verdict?
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you are all agreed?
Yes.
What is your verdict? Do you find the accused guilty or not guilty of murder?
Not guilty of murder, but guilty of manslaughter.
The judge made an order that Samuel Ross be detained in a special hospital to be specified under Section 20 of the Mental Health Act, 1959, and coupled this with an indefinite restriction order under Section 65 of the Mental Health Act. You can join another jury when our cameras return to bring you a leading case from the Crown Court.